Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Gupta, I'd like to ask you about an issue that is likely to come up within your division at the Department of Justice, the Civil Rights Division. As you're probably aware, earlier this month, the U.S. Department of Education concluded that Township School District 211, located in Palatine, Illinois, had violated Title IX when it prohibited a transgender student identifying as a girl to change and shower in the girls' locker room at the public school that she attends without any restrictions. Now, the school and the school district had permitted this student to participate on the girls' sports teams and to use the girls' restrooms at the school. However, to accommodate the student's request to use the girls' locker room, the school had sought to require the student to change behind privacy curtains. Now, according to the U.S. Department of Education, in this letter that was dated November 2nd of this year, just 2 weeks ago yesterday, requiring the transgender student to use private changing and showering facilities violated the student's rights because it resulted in differential treatment of a transgender student. Even the plan to have the student change behind privacy curtains in the girls' locker room would apparently not be sufficient, according to the Department of Education in this letter issued on November 2nd, because requiring only transgender students and not all students to change behind a curtain, according to this letter, amounts to differential treatment based on a sex-based consideration and would, according to the Department of Education, therefore constitute a violation of Title IX. So I've got a question for you. Is this also the view of the Civil Rights Division of the U.S. Department of Justice? Is it the view of your division, the Civil Rights Division, that requiring a transgender student to change and shower behind a curtain while they're in a locker room of the opposite biological gender, that asking them to do even that would amount to a violation of Title IX?
Senator, thank you for the question. And I can say at the moment that the Justice Department has not taken a fixed position on this matter. I can't get into internal deliberations, but we are aware of the matter and are in conversation about it.
Okay. Well, as I'm sure you're aware, if the school district doesn't conform to this standard, the Department of Education may well refer this case to your division. Have you or has anyone else within the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice been in contact with the U.S. Department of Education about this matter?
We are aware that, of course, that could happen. It's why we are right now in conversation about this issue, but we haven't taken any position on it. And I am not aware of direct communications with the Department of Education on this right now. There are a lot of deliberations happening in the building on these various issues.
So you have been consulted on it?
We are aware that the Department of Education filed that matter and that it very well could be headed over to the Justice Department.
Will the Department of Justice seek enforcement of Title IX on this issue if the school district at issue doesn't conform to the demands of the letter issued on November 2nd by the Department of Education?
Unfortunately, I'm not able to comment on that as we haven't made any decisions.
Based on my description of what happened and based on what you know about this instance, do you think the U.S. Department of Education correctly concluded that it's against the law for the school district to say that a transgender student who identifies as female but was born male needs to shower and change behind a curtain? Do you agree with that assessment that would violate federal law?
Senator, it would be inappropriate for me to comment on this given that the Justice Department has not yet made its position known.
Okay. I want to make clear that I find that surprising. I find it a little stunning that you can't right now sit here and tell me that it wouldn't be a problem. Now, I've got a 14-year-old daughter. She's in junior high. And if what you're telling me is that it's too close to call, such that if a transgender student at her school who identifies as female but was born male would have to be able to shower and use the locker room in the girls' locker room, just like any other girl, without being asked to use a privacy curtain or anything like that, if you can't tell me that that doesn't violate the law, then what you're telling me is that her principal could and should be expected to be hauled into court for making that determination on a local basis based on the needs of that school. If you can't tell me that, I think you're going to have a lot of parents who have a lot of questions, a lot of parents, parents of daughters, parents of sons who are going to wonder why it is that our Department of Justice has to get so mired in the administration of a school that it's getting into questions like who and under what circumstances someone who was born male but is a transgender student identifying as female must be given full unfettered access to showers, locker rooms, and changing facilities within the school. And I hope you'll follow up on that. The American people certainly deserve clarity on that. And if we're going to start taking away educational resources from local school districts to fight battles like this in court, that's money that can't be spent on legitimate educational programs. And they need to be given discretion so that they can run their school districts in the manner that they deem fit. Thank you. I see my time's expired.